I remember the season of graduating high school, and all my friends and teachers would come and ask me a series of questions that actually brought a lot of trepidation to my soul. You've probably had these similar questions asked to yourself. Some of those questions were like this: Ken, what are you going to do with your life? I didn't even know what I was going to do for lunch that day. The other questions would have been like, Ken, do you know what kind of career you're going to have? Nope. Do you at least know what kind of degree or college education you want to receive? And to be honest, I didn't even know how to do laundry at the time, let alone figure out what I was going to do for college. But all my friends started to pursue their education, started to go to college, started to tell me about their dreams and aspirations and all the things that they wanted to do. And it kind of got me motivated to look into what college I wanted to go to, what kind of degree I wanted to pursue, what I actually wanted to do with my life. And as I started to research all these things, and I started to look at my future, I started to have this overwhelming dread come over me. Because the more and more I looked about the certain jobs I wanted to have, the more and more I realized that my future would look like this. I had overwhelming student loan debt come in as soon as I would graduate college. And this isn't just me. There are many people like this today who feel this way, where all of a sudden they're like, I want to go to college, but they're too afraid because of how much debt they're going to incur. Now, some people weigh the risk to reward ratio and they're like, you know what, I know that education is going to benefit me, so I'm going to take that risk. And as they're taking that risk, they're going to colleges, and they get there, they're learning, they're excited to be at this college institution, and college administrators and teachers are casting vision about how everything they're learning in the classroom is going to help them for the workforce in the future. But then reality hits. The reality hits is that once they graduate and they're getting ready to write a resume to go to a workforce and pursue their career, they realize that the things they learn in the classroom don't necessarily transfer to a resume. You see, for many of us, we can't necessarily put above average philosophical communicator on our resume. That just doesn't work out. That's not what most employers are looking for. Most employers are looking for certain skills and competencies that could help that organization thrive. The National Association of Colleges and Employers surveys thousands of employers throughout the nation. And every year they have a survey called the Job Outlook Survey. And this year, there was 4 major competencies and skills that they are looking for in people. And this is what employers want. The first thing that they're looking for is critical thinking. Are people, when they graduate from college, able to deal with complex situations and solve them in an effective and efficient manner? The second one is teamwork. Can people deal with interpersonal conflict within a team? Can they work well with a team? The third one is this: work ethic. There are some people who have great critical thinking skills and are able to hang out and interact with people, but they just don't know how to get their hands dirty and persevere with the mundane tasks. And then the last one is oral and written communication. The employers are looking for people who know how to communicate both locally in their context and also globally depending on the corporation. And the reason I bring this up is because if this is what employers want after education, I started to realize that there is this massive gap in the educational world. And here's the gap. Both the institution itself is having people walk away with enormous amount of debt and the lack of work experience and transferable skills that people need. So people started to wonder, how do we solve this? How do we solve this problem of having debt and lack of work experience within the educational world? Thankfully, there has been a diamond in the rough there for decades here in the United States. Most people are not aware of this diamond in the rough, but there are actually pockets within the United States that help solve these 2 major problems. That diamond in the rough is called a work college model. Now, you may be asking, what's a work college model? A work college model is a college that integrates both work, learning, and service in order to help reduce the cost of education. You see, the main philosophy for a work college is how to help people graduate with limited to no debt. There are currently 9 federally recognized work colleges in the United States, Bethany Global University being one of them. And the way that we try to help reduce this debt is with what we call the tuition paid model. The tuition paid model works a little bit like this. We have our individuals work for or get their federal Pell Grants, and with the federal Pell Grants, all of them are required to work on campus for their what we call the practical training scholarship. And whatever these two things don't cover, we as BGU cover the rest with our BGU tuition scholarship, so that undergrad students pay $0 for their tuition, and all they pay for is room, board, and fees. Now, we're not the only ones who have this type of model. Other work colleges have this other model as well. For example, College of the Ozarks in Missouri, also known as Hard Work U, all their graduating students, when they graduate, will graduate with 0 student-related debt. I'll say that again because some of you are a little shocked. All graduating students will graduate with 0 student-related debt. And that's why they're known as Hard Work U, right? The second one is Berea College, ranked #1 in the lowest student debt figure in Kentucky in 2017. Here's another one that is also helping with limited to no debt is Alice Lloyd College in Kentucky as well. In the US News World Report in 2018 college edition, they were ranked #5 in all of the United States for the #5 in the lowest United States for students graduating with the least amount of debt. You see, the whole concept of the work college is really trying to help students walk away with not having this burden of trying to figure out how are they going to pay for all this debt after they leave college. Now, the beauty about the work colleges is that it's not just the debt portion that are trying to be solved. They're also trying to figure out how to give people the skills necessary to not just survive in the workplace, but thrive. And that's where the work colleges gives everybody opportunities to learn transferable skills while working on their campuses. Like I mentioned before, work colleges, all residential students are required to work on campus. And they're working in myriad of locations. Some of those might be from media, to marketing, to IT, to facilities, to agricultural things like farming or forestry. Depending on which work college you go to, you will see unique aspects of different types of placements that students can work. And that's the beautiful thing about the work college model. It doesn't have to be this cookie cutter thing. All of them are unique. Here's a great example of how the uniqueness work plays out. The biggest thing of the uniqueness of all these is the simple fact that educators here at our campuses, and Bethany Global University, College of the Ozarks, Blackburn, whichever ones you look at, the educators are focused on leadership development. We are not just focused on leaving a legacy for our family, we are focused on leaving a legacy for those that we impact on a day-to-day life. We want to guide and mentor people and teach them on how to work. Because for some of us, we've never had a job before entering the college workforce. So all these colleges are just trying to help, saying, how do we give everyone the necessary tools? This is the ethos of guiding and mentorship of all the work colleges. Here's a great example. Blackburn College is student managed. What do I mean by student managed? It simply means that all day-to-day operations and responsibilities are managed by the students at Blackburn College. They have from lower to middle to higher levels of leadership, making decisions that will impact the university for years to come. Now, they have executive leaderships there, staff leadership, but ultimately, it's the students themselves who have the great responsibility to make this happen. And why do they do this? Because they realize that the greater demands and responsibilities we put on people, the higher that they will come to those demands. Another college, Paul Quinn College. It is our first urban work college, historically reaching minority individuals. They have this ethos of trying to figure out how do we help minorities in urban contexts. So their students not only work off campus, but they also have the opportunity to, or work on campus, they also have the opportunity to work off campus in lean startups or corporate businesses that ranging from little small boutique shops to Fortune 500 companies. Another college that you should think about is Sterling College in Vermont. Their motto is working hands and working minds. They are focused on being environmental stewards. So figuring out how do we take care of the environment? How do we help it through outdoor education or through forestry or through agriculture? And all their students are working on their campus in specific roles that I had just mentioned. Now, a work college is not just these two things of, hey, we're going to give great learning, great debt, or help reduce debt, but also work things. We're also focused on service and trying to figure out how do we help the community, whether it's your small community or the community at large here in America. And we're always focused on how do we serve those individuals. A great example of this is Warren Wilson. They have what's called a zero waste initiative that by 2032, they will have 90% of their waste in their college be diverted from landfills and be recycled or used in compost. And currently they're at 80% and are teaching the community around them how to be resourceful. See, this is the beauty of work colleges. And as you see all these different types of work colleges, the thing you notice is that they're all different. And here's the reality. If you go to every single one of them, they're going to have different theological, philosophical, political views. But one thing that we all have in common and that we all pursue is that we want to help a generation learn how to work and be productive at work. Imagine with me for 1 second. What would it look like if all colleges were like this? What would it look like if all of a sudden you went to a college and not only did you have a degree when you walk out of it, but you also had the work experience, you also had the transferable skills, and the understanding of how to help the communities at large? What would our society look like? I believe the work college model is the future to education and the opportunity for a bright future for those entering the workforce. Thank you.